Hello, how are you? How you doing? Dustin, I don't know. It's working. I don't know.
Are we on?
We are live.
Oh,
Yes.
we're on.
We are okay. Good. Good afternoon and good evening in the East Coast and a good late night.
Early morning
in Europe. Okay. Here we are with a dear friend and trumpet extraordinaire, musician extraordinaire, Chuck Findley. Chuck, thank you so much for doing this for us, man.
Arturo,
Thank you so much, man.
thank you so much.
By the way,
thank you for
you are
doing this.
you know what? You are in a good company because we start with Malcolm and Gary, and then Wayne,
And then Jerry.
and then Jerry, and now you.
That's
My
right.
goodness! Wow, I'm very lucky. You know.
So I'm playing fourth, I hope.
Come on!
I
We're
wouldn't
gonna
mind
fight
that.
to see who's gonna play
Oh,
for.
no, we don't do that.
Yeah, Chuck,
We
you know-
make love, that's why it's called Trumpet Lover.
Oh yes, that's
It's all about love.
I couldn't think about a better name for that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because if we are not in love with what we do, we're always gonna lose the battle.
That's right.
The trumpet always gonna
Then
win.
you put it away. I mean, when you started, when you first started playing it, you did it and you fell in love with it, and you still do. You know, I mean, like you said, if you don't love playing and doing what you do, then you might as well just hang it up, right? But I can't do that because all my life it's all been about love, you
Actually,
know? and nothing else but, you know, because then it's fun too. It's fun and love. And,
hold on one second. Let me close this door because I hear the return.
I guess it's just me here now. Arturo's gonna shut the door. I guess there's some
Oh
noise.
yeah. Close both of them. Yeah, good. Thank you so much. Sorry for the interruption, but you know I left you in a
It was
good
nice,
company.
nice interjection. Anyhow, getting back to the love of the music.
Of music, that's the thing that drives us, you know.
I'd like to ask you this: what was your first exposure to music?
You gonna interview me?
Yes,
That's funny.
it's my show now. No, I'm just
That's
I'm
okay,
just
okay.
kind of curious because I'd like to know what was it a vinyl record? Was
In the-
it
in the-
live?
You
Was
mean
it
in the very beginning?
Yeah.
In the very beginning, my father was a car mechanic, and nobody in my family had nothing to do with music at all.
Right.
Zero, nobody. And I really, until today, I don't know why I get into music. What was my motivation or the reason I get such an interest in music? Because everything was going in different direction in my house. You know, nobody liked music like this. You know, and my father, you know, my mother more or less she liked a little bit of music, but not much. You know.
But the culture.
I never have a turntable in
No.
my house.
No.
No. I
Interesting.
heard something in the radio, but when I was a little kid, I started to play and bang on top of everything.
Yeah.
And my grandmothers and all my relatives was mad at me because I was making noise all over all the time. And then a neighbor bought for me a little conga.
Yeah.
I was like 4 or 5 years old, and he bought for me. She asked somebody to make it because that doesn't exist. You know,
Sure,
a conga
so
like
little,
this,
yeah.
1.5 feet.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me. I started to play that all day long, and then I put together a couple of sack of empty sugar cane sacks, and I made like a little tent, you know, like a little circus. And then I put a piece of rope from one side to the other, and then I have a little cat, and I put I put a piece of meat in the other end, and then I play the conga, and I charge 1 cent for the kids. I got a gray chose that I can make a nickel, 5 cents, 5 kids inside the.
Wow.
That was my first intent of capitalism.
I wanted to play drums first.
That was your first thing?
Yeah, but it was too loud, you know, once again, like I said. But even though I grew up in a musical family, it was all music, but I wanted to play drums. So in Hamilton, I played the trumpet, which actually was louder than the drums, the way, you know, at least
Sometimes.
I made it louder.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But anyhow, but originally I wanted to play drums. Even though my brother, Bobby, of course, 8 years older than me.
But you start with the drum before?
Oh, no, I
never.
just want,
You want to?
Yeah, I wanted to. To this day, I love time. I loved,
But be glad that you want that, because for sure that gave you a strong concept of rhythm.
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
that always helped. Always.
Absolutely.
And then the trumpet was next.
Trumpet, yeah, I
The
was
first was trumpet.
4 years old, yeah. Not-
4?
Yeah, my brother was like 12, and he was playing cornet.
Bobby?
Yeah. And I thought it was a toy, so I'd take it out of his case and try to make a sound, imitate him, you know. And I'd go splat or whatever I did, and I'd take it and I'd throw it, because I didn't
Toy.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was banging it up.
Hey.
I was kind of ruining the horn, you know. So then my dad bought me one for a junk at a pawn shop, a little $5 and I did the same thing with that. I had my own though. And I'd do the same thing. I'd play it and I'd throw it and play it, and then I'd go play ball on the street, stick ball, with a gumball, a broomstick, you know, we were kids. And so I'd go back and forth from that to throwing the horn and trying to play a sound and then throwing it.
And what about the slide, the trombone?
That was much later.
Much later.
Yeah, that was when I was 12. So.
You start to mess around with this slide.
Well, my brother was on the road with and his roommate was a trombone player. His name was Jerry Schultz.
Oh.
And they were on the Glenn Miller Band.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
You hear him well? Eh? Dustin, do you hear him well? Okay. Yeah. Project your voice
Okay,
a little bit. A little bit.
Normally I'm too loud. So.
Please. No, it's okay.
Anyhow.
The microphone is right there.
Oh, that's the mic. Huh?
That's for playing, and that's for a voice. Is that one there 6 feet, 6 feet away?
Well, if I can't project 6 feet, then there's something wrong.
Of course you can.
Anyhow, so what had happened is my brother and Jerry Schultz trombone player, they left the road and they were living in not like Tahoe, in Nevada, and Sparks, I think it was something like Sparks. So they were waiting to get their card. You had to wait 6 months to get a union card to work in Nevada. So you had to sign, join, and then wait 6 months to work.
And now it's worse, no?
Well, there's no work now, but you don't have to wait, I don't think. Anyhow, no, yeah, maybe so. But anyhow, his friend, they'd go back and forth to Las Vegas when they would get, work, and also Lake Tahoe, gigs in Tahoe. So they were closer to Tahoe. They drive to Vegas, and Jerry Schultz got a Lotus Elan, a little sports car, and for that job it was beautiful, it was a fast little car. And he fell asleep at the wheel and went under and was killed. And the trombones, his mom didn't know what to do with them, so they sent them to our house to sell. So they were in my room, and they were just sitting in the case, and I would hear these in school. I was 12 years old. The kids in the school were not very good players at all, really not good. And then I'd listen to Frank Rassolino, Carl Fontana, Tommy Dorsey. I'm hearing all these trombone players, and I'm like, wow. This is a beautiful instrument, and why don't these kids in my school sing it? So I took it out of the case, and I taught myself, I started playing, and fell in love with it, and to this day, I love it more than I do the trumpet. That's God's truth.
You like more the trombone?
Yeah. It's cause
man, now you broke my heart.
Well, it's...
Oh, come on.
It's the closest thing to...
You are a traitor.
To the human voice. Think about it. That's like the human voice. When you're singing, you can do it with a trombone.
The slides and the thing.
Yeah, you slide
the nuances.
It's so hard, you have to do...
You can imitate the voice.
Yeah,
closer. You got a point.
There was a church, and we did a concert. Well, Malcolm did it too, because Malcolm, you mentioned before, who else plays it? He played slide cornet.
He do?
He did on this. We did a concert at a church, and it was called the Moravian Church. We had 100 slides, no vowels at all, from concert contrabass trombone to slide trumpet, slide cornet. 100 in this church. They've never had an organ. The Moravian church didn't have an organ. Their organ were slides, like the human voice.
What about the euphonium and other things?
No valves, just slides. Only slides. So
Wow.
they were the voices. And Arturo?
Good sound.
100 slides.
Wow.
Everybody sliding.
Is any recording of that?
I don't know. Malcolm might.
We're going to be interesting to listen. I would
I,
love to listen
I
to
still
that.
don't think they have an organ. I mean, I think the Moravian church, their choir, and there is still slides.
Okay, now it's my time now to start.
It's your
my
show
question.
now. Okay. I'm
The
done.
first question, a good friend, a brother of yours and mine, I was asking this morning, man, tell me, give me some hints of things that you ask Chuck about. And he said, I don't want to say his name, his initial is GG.
Double G.
Double G.
Okay, I know who that is.
His initial is
Yeah, it's easier to play it that way than
double
that
G.
one.
And then he said, ask Chuck the story when he showed up in the Academy Award show and he played the lead on the slide trumpet.
Well,
That's true?
yes, it's true. During that period, I was doing,
What year is that?
oh gosh, in the 70s.
70s?
Yeah, maybe might have been 80. Late 70s, maybe around somewhere between
Around that.
75 to 80, somewhere in that period, I think.
Okay.
Because I was doing the Academy Awards for all through the 70s and in the 80s as well. I did all this, but I was playing a lot of slide trumpet on record dates, and I mean, period. I was playing a lot of slide trumpet because I would double track on records. I would play the valve on the one track, and then when we double track, I'd play it on the slide.
On the slide.
And then then you had the
Wow.
voice with the valve, so all the things, they just flowed together, and it was beautiful. You know, like you can just, you know, and the sound was different too. It's a little bigger sound, you know. So it was quite lovely, and I did it all the time. I was playing it all the time. So it wasn't unusual to see me with the slide trumpet,
That's
but not the
in B flat?
Academy Awards. Yeah,
On B
yeah,
flat?
but not the Academy Awards. You know, and of course I had no problem playing it. I mean, parts, I could play all the parts, so it was no big deal. And especially when you're playing lead, you're up above the staff most of the time anyhow. And all that's all here. You don't have to be moving around too much. You know,
It's close.
so you hear, I'm from here to the bell.
You don't have to.
No, I'm pretty much all up here, and they're play-ons and playoffs and things like that. So it wasn't anything technically demanding, but I played the whole show on it. But I think it was Dominic Frontieri was the
Conductor?
I think it was Dominic. I don't know. There was so many. I think it was him, but he had no idea. First of all, he never saw anybody play a slide trumpet. Number one. And then for him to look up and see his lead player with the slide trumpet right before downbeat, he was completely. He's like this, you know, what's he with the headphones on, and he goes like this, and he looks up, and the look on his face.
That was showtime.
Oh yeah, and the look on his face was really frightening. I mean, his look was frightening. I was like, hey, okay, let's go.
I would too.
Let's go. Let's record. Anyhow. But no, Gary knows it. So that's true. That's all true. Yeah, like I said, once again, I did it on a lot of shows.
I'm so sorry you didn't bring it because that could be very interesting to demonstrate.
You don't have one here, huh?
I'm not even think about it. I never thought about. I don't want to try.
Well, I do want you.
It's enough problem with this. Okay, tell me about it. You didn't grow up here, no?
No.
Where's your hometown?
No, I was born in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, a little in western Pennsylvania, a little mill town.
From there you moved
50 miles. No, it's 50 miles from Pittsburgh. From Johnstown is.
And from there you moved to
when I was 7.
another big city.
We moved to the big city, which was Cleveland.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was a mill town. My dad worked.
Indian.
Well, you know, you work in the mill, and they run trains from Bethlehem Steel was the
I mean, India is a baseball team.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love the
I
Indians,
love the
but I also loved the Pirates as a kid. But so anyhow, then we moved to Cleveland. That was a big city for my dad. You know, my dad could have gone on the road as a saxophone player, wonderful player, but with 3 children.
You didn't do it?
No, he stayed.
Got a day job?
Yeah, he worked. He worked as a plumber in the mill there in Johnstown, Bethlehem Steel, and then on weekends he played. He played the saxophone, lead alto in their city, their band. They played all in Western Pennsylvania area, Pittsburgh, in that area. And in that band, my dad played lead alto. In that band was Tommy Turk, the trombone player, who played with Bird. He was the trombone player in the band. And his brother, Rob Turk, who played lead with Harry James, was in that band.
Trumpet?
Yeah. And he did most of the arrangements for Harry James. So there was Rob Turk, Tommy Turk on trombone, my dad played lead alto. Another trombone player by the name of Jimmy Salko, who was out here and moved out here and did all the, he played films and movies and stuff with trombone player, who I met later on here. When it was all these people I met later. And the kid guitar player was Joe Pass.
Oh!
Now, mind you, this is a small little mill town, you know.
That was an all-star. Oh my goodness, Joe Pass.
Yeah, so anyhow, that area, that particular area of Western Pennsylvania, like Pittsburgh and all that, like Billy Eckstein's from Pittsburgh. I mean, I can go down the list of people that are from that area.
Okay, Cleveland. Next step.
Yeah, Cleveland. Cleveland,
Next
after
step.
Cleveland was the road. Buddy Rich.
On the road with Buddy Rich.
Well, that was I'd have to say that was what took me
on the road
and brought me here. Yeah, was Buddy.
Yeah. And when you moved to LA?
1969.
69.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And can you tell the guys and share with us how's the life of a trumpet player in Los Angeles from 1969 until today? How's the transformation, and how can you describe to us in certain amount of time how many experience you got on the studios over here, in record days, in movie days, on all those kind of things that you have been experienced over so many years with a lot of
and the difference, you mean, to now?
Yeah, between 69 and today.
Well, back then, back in the 60s, actually I was here in 67 the first time with Buddy's band, Buddy Rich's band. I was here for the whole summer. But there was so much work, Arturo. Records.
You work every day?
Oh, geez, I took Saturday and Sunday off because I didn't want to work. You know, I worked Monday through Friday, 3 to 4 a day.
Wow.
Sessions. I go from one studio to another studio, for, mind you, through the 70s, and all through the 80s. Like 5 days a week. So it was, and I was so fortunate in the mid-70s when Gary and Jerry moved here. I was in heaven because now I had these guys to work with. It was what a treat that was. But in layman's terms, to explain what was available, it was like us going into a steakhouse, and they pull out this big tray of porterhouse, T-bone, filet, and we all can say, well, I'll take that, I'll take that, and I'll take that. Now, going on 50 years later, I think, there's one piece of meat about this big, and about 30 guys trying to get a piece of it. Yeah, that's the difference. Absolutely.
I'm so happy you don't include me in that thing.
Oh, jeez. You know when I met you, I have to tell you, when I met you...
No, I mean the studio thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. I wish you would have been there. It would have,
I wish that too, but to be honest, the studio scared me a little bit, because what really motivates me to play music is the audience, man. Yeah. And for me, it's difficult to make a good interpretation and a good feeling and a good thing to the microphone.
I understand.
You understand what I mean? When I see somebody there looking to the stage and paying attention, that's what it really inspired me to go for it, to be honest.
Me as well.
I cannot live without that, to
I
be
feel
honest.
the same way.
Of
believe me.
course, yeah.
So when we finish all day recording in the studio, and then we go to Dante's and play into a club, and then we play for people. So I would get that as well. I'd get the beauty of playing to
In
people
front of the audience, yeah.
and if just one, like I said, just one person even just said, "Wow," you know, and
That was enough.
It didn't matter. That's all you need. You don't need 30,000 people to say,
No,
"I
no,
love
no,
it."
only one, only
Right?
one.
So
Only
all you
one.
need is to touch one heart out there and say, "Okay,
Yeah.
I did it." And that was going on all the time as well.
Let me ask
Every
you,
night.
how long you was playing with Buddy Rich?
A year and like 5 months, I think. I joined the band in New York, November of 1969. No, what am I talking about? 69, Jesus, 66. Oh boy, 1966.
Yeah,
That's
for
when
a year and a half.
he formed a band in Vegas in '66. And when he first formed a band in Vegas, he got all Carl Saunders was in that band, Bobby Shue was in that band. At the very beginning, it was a Vegas band.
Yeah.
And it didn't go over big at all. I mean, he couldn't, it wouldn't sell out clubs or anything at all at the beginning. And he got very, very, he was very disappointed, very,
Tough time.
yeah, it didn't work, so he wasn't happy. He wasn't a happy man with that. But then he owed the IRS a lot of money.
He was happy ever?
No, he wasn't happy. Oh, was he happy ever? That's funny. Well, you know,
I hear that.
yeah, you know what?
We don't wanna go there.
No,
No.
we can because he was. Yes, he was. Once again, when he was playing, and when the
Yes.
band was happening, he was.
He get happy.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
extremely happy. Of course, it comes back to that because he was the little boy wonder, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the stories that people share and those ugly stories and so on.
Yeah.
For me, in my book, he is still the best drummer who ever walked in the face.
Absolutely.
In my
Absolutely.
book.
Yeah.
He is the very best. The very best.
Absolutely, Arturo. And
The very best.
he brought out, he got inside you and brought out the best in you.
Unbelievable.
And it
And
was.
the band, yeah, the band
He
was good.
brought it, yeah, I mean, that's why it was the old school was to give me, you know, I don't want to use the word,
And you have no choice,
can
otherwise you're gonna hear from him.
oh, I think he fired Bobby Shue 18 times.
Only
The first night I joined the band, he fired me. First night, when I auditioned.
the first time?
Yeah, I was auditioned, and I thought I did great, and he was auditioning probably, he auditioned at least a dozen before I flew in from Cleveland, and I auditioned, and I thought I did great, and he wanted to see me in his room between the shows, and he said, "Kid," well, this is after he talked about Shue, because Bobby got me on the band, Shue did, and he said, "Who's this kid? You know, get rid of him." Basically, he didn't want to. And Bobby said, "He's perfect. Use him. He's perfect for the band." So I went into his room. He's in a smoking jacket, and he says, "The kid says you got the gig." I said, "Fantastic, buddy, fantastic." He said, "But when you play your solos, I want you to play like Sweet Citizen." And I said, "Well, I can't do that. If you want somebody to, you know, play like Sweet Citizen, you get Sweet Citizen." He said, "Kid, you got the gig." Because I stood up to him and said, "No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to be
play
mean."
by me. Yeah.
And that was the old school that of players. In other words, stand up for yourself and say, "No, I'm not, you know, screw you. You know, I'm not going to do that." You know, and then there were times, like, this is beautiful, with Buddy's band. We played in Chicago at a place called, can't think of the name of it. This one club was a jazz club. We played there and everything was wonderful, and you know, we'd have a week at a time. Because now he formed the band again because he owed the IRS money. And
Who
he
had
had
all
to,
the trumpet players beside you?
Bobby Shue, John Sotilli, who was from here,
Yeah.
and John Murakami, the four of us. That was when I joined the band. It was a wonderful triple sixer. And but Buddy formed a band, and all of a sudden they heard about him in the band, and he was packing the houses. They do a night, and then in fact they do a night, and all of a sudden they booked him for another night because
Yeah,
the band was so good.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, when I joined the band, he was getting a week at a time. So the clubs, we weren't doing momentos. We were going a week here, went to the Orient, did a tour in the Orient, you know.
And after Body Reach, LA.
Vegas for about,
Vegas first.
for about because it was my brother was living there, and it was a great town for musicians then. Fantastic.
Okay, we run out of first half an hour already.
No.
And yes, and here we are. We have our dear friend Tina
Tim
Marca.
Lamarca.
Yeah, Tin is helping us as always with question.
Yep, you got some questions already.
Okay, let's answer a couple of questions.
Fantastic. Michael Paul was asking who was your primary influences growing up as a young musician?
Who asked us that?
Michael Paul.
Michael Paul. Who are my influential musicians or trumpet players?
Who were your biggest influences, I guess, starting as a young musician? Maybe
Well,
trumpet players,
first was my brother. My brother was my big brother.
You better say that, yeah.
Well, it's true. I wanted to be just like him. You know, when I saw my brother, when I saw him in high school making a living, you know, because we didn't have any money, our family. And my brother bought. He had a convertible. He had a Plymouth convertible.
He was
And
doing
he was
good.
playing clubs.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he was there was a local show called the Joe Howard Show, I think it was, which I think became the Mike Douglas Show. After that, it moved to Philadelphia, but it started in Cleveland. But my brother did that show. He was my first, and still to this day, you know, he's my idol. And then Bobby Hackett was the first
Wow.
influence I had. Now, because of the records I
Beautiful
listened
player.
to from yes.
Good.
Cornet, he didn't play above a high C, he didn't need to. Every note he played was beautiful and gorgeous.
Very
So
pretty,
he was
pretty.
my first, I listened to him on the records, you know. And then I listened to, it was quite a culture shock because it went from that to Stan Kenton and Maynard Ferguson. So I'm playing cornet because I was a cornet player. And I'm playing along with Bobby Hackett, playing on
Oh yeah.
lovely lyrical things, and then all of a sudden I hear Maynard, and I'm like, what
With
is
Kenton?
that? Yeah, I seriously said, what is that?
That means from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Right. It was a culture shock, you know. I was like, Jesus. I mean, high C was like, you know, and a cornet was like, oh man, that's saying something.
That's
you know,
okay.
Yeah, of
that's
course.
okay.
And then I get a trumpet. Next thing I know, I'm playing records with Maynard, and I'm trying to, you know, and next thing I know, that all came out. And then the other players that really influenced me, they were like, was Clifford, of course, Carmel Jones. There was, Booker.
Booker Litter?
Booker Little. There was
Fats Navarro, you
Fats Navarro, of course. Then there was like the West Coast, Conte Condoli.
He was Cuban.
Yeah, I know that. I read that. I read that. Yes, I did.
Actually,
And he lived in Florida, though. Yeah.
he was born in Key West,
Oh, in Florida.
but his father was from Cuba
Yeah, I read.
and a mother American.
Okay.
His name was Teodoro Navarro Gonzalez. That was his real name,
Yeah.
Teodoro Navarro Gonzalez. His mother was a daughter of a Cuban guy, but she was born also in Key West.
Oh, yeah.
And he was born in Key West of a Cuban father and Cuban American mother.
Wow.
But his name was Teodoro Navarro Gonzalez.
Okay. So Novato, of course, makes sense. Yeah.
Navarro.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. I can't roll my R.
Oh, come on!
You know what? That's another thing you want to get into. We'll talk later about. But no, it's interesting. You know, I growl. I don't flutter.
Oh yeah.
I do that. And you know, it's interesting. I found that like 50% of brass players will growl and 50% can flutter, but they can't do both. My brother can't. I bet you can do both.
Ooh,
What do you do if you have to do it?
I never thought about. I swear to God, I don't even know that. You mean a grow like a oh?
Yeah, if you're doing like this. That's a growl.
That's a grow.
That's a growl. That's a growl. That's a growl.
And the other thing, what it is?
That's flutter. bend the tongue. I can't do that. I mean, I really can't. It's, and I can control the ground. So for me, I've always
I
used
don't
that.
even know it was different.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, it's.
I swear to God,
Well, that's the
I
other
learned a new thing now.
The other thing doing studio work is all the different things. In other words, there's a Mexican vibrato, a mariachi vibrato, Italian vibrato. They're different. They're different
Whoa!
vibratos. And
Listen to that, guys. That's very important.
Yes, it is, because you need to know how to do all these different
Styles.
things. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the only way to really learn to do that is to listen. When you listen to Rafael Mendez, who others doing good, and I'm going to other people that listen to it.
Of course, yeah.
You know, and then you hear that, and then you hear,
Our life is a learning process.
absolutely,
Like never stop and never end.
right. And I'm sorry, I don't want to get off the subject.
Sure.
We were talking about influence. You know, so when I heard Rafael Mendez, of course, I was like, what is this? You know, as a young
Sorry.
boy growing up trying to learn to play this, and you hear people like that play, you're like, wow. And you have no idea. I remember when I tried the double tongue the first time, and I couldn't do it. I was a little boy, probably 8 years old. And I was when I go ducka ducka ducka, and it would stop ducka ducka ducka. I couldn't get it going, and I was and I tried, frustrated. I'd try and I'd try. And my dad would say to me, "Son, it's okay. It will.
Take your time.
It will happen.
Yeah.
One day it will happen." And I would literally, I'd cry because I couldn't do it. You know, I'd try and I'd cry, and I'd go out and I'd play stickball on the street, and the broomstick and a gumball. And I'd do that again. Then I'd go back and I'd try it again. Ducka 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 ducka. And it went. And then one day, I went, and I went, wow. And I cried of happiness.
That's good. That's
And the same thing happened with triple time. So, because I hear Rafael Mendez, I hear this, you know, perpetual motion, and everything I heard him do, just period. And then, so I learned how to double tongue. But you learn things like that by listening to, you know, I mean, in records.
But
radio.
what you mentioned a few seconds ago about the different type of vibrato, man, I never heard anybody mention that. And it's extremely interesting because every style, of course, have a different. When you hear Harry James vibrato, it's different than, I don't know.
Everybody's.
And when you hear Miles with no vibrato, it's a different story, you know.
Right.
And but we have to always pay attention, and it's a learning process that never gonna end, of course. And but you pay really close attention to all those details, we start to improve things, improve.
Right.
I was, you know, I get a lot of critics over the year about a lot of things, but especially when I play classical music, a lot of people say that I use a little too much vibrato. And you know what? They were right. I learned that lesson. I learned that.
No,
I learned that kind of too late.
I disagree though. I disagree because I'll tell you what. That's what makes you Arturo Sandoval. That's what makes this particular classical player, they maybe said that, which makes him different than you. What makes me different than you.
Yeah.
And when you could play the same piece.
Yeah.
What makes it different when you play it than me? You. Your corazón and the way you approach and play the piece. That is the difference. It's not, I mean, otherwise they're just notes.
But
then they don't mean anything.
I really pay attention to that because when the people criticize you, you have to listen. You have to listen and you know, to be sure they were right or wrong. And but I have to confess that in a few on the recording I did of the classical music, I really was using a little too much vibrato.
I like the word little. That's perfect.
Yes. And but now it's a little late. But I'm fixing that. I'm fixing that. I recorded my new trumpet concerto a week ago in Czech Republic, and I was listening this morning to the recording
in Prague,
and in a different Český Krumlov. It's another beautiful city. With a Czech orchestra, very good musician.
Was it the Proms orchestra from Prague?
It's not. They're not from Prague. They're from that city.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Český Krumlov. And the conductor, excellent, excellent. And then I was listening to the recording, and I said, wow, I pay attention to the critics. Now I'm using a lot less vibrato. And it's true that sound a little more into the almost everybody approach to the style.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want
too much of anything is
it's too much.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
And,
All the same talking. I don't want to go straight like.
oh no.
Because
Well,
that's not expression.
we were
no.
talking about Tomas Ganch before. We were talking about
Yeah.
with Minoza Brass.
Good
They don't know.
trumpet.
He's all fantastic trumpet, really fantastic. And his brother, his older brother, was Hans Ganch, who was the principal player with the Vienna Symphony and all those.
Trumpet?
Oh yeah, Hans.
I didn't know
Ganch,
that.
Hans Ganch.
Absolutely.
Well, Hans Ganch, Tomas, haven't even met him yet because he's kind of retired now and he lives on his boat pretty much. But Tomas told me that Hans, his brother, didn't even come to our concert because he really is not a fan of vibrato. Now here's a classical player, but then I heard him do a piece on YouTube. That was more of a commercial piece.
And he got a vibrato?
Oh yeah, of course. So in other words, I guess
Can you imagine playing Harry Jensen?
I've been criticized.
No.
You're talking about vibrato. I've been criticized. Somebody said something one time when I did Nature Boy, and they said that I just slid out of the notes too much, So I go. So the way I that's for me. That's me.
That's
Talking to the horn.
That's nuances of expression.
And I've been criticized for that.
Yeah,
So then again, I was
that's good.
Ollie Mitchell used to say, but Ollie was the guru. Now here was a guy that you would have loved Ollie.
But it's good when the people criticize.
Oh, that's true.
That's good
That's
because that means they're paying attention.
That's true. But Ollie used to say, the critics criticize
Yeah.
because that's all they know how to do. They can't play, so they
Yeah.
get paid to criticize.
Last week somebody told me
That's their
something.
job.
I never hear that. Listen to that. You're gonna like this one. He said, I travel all over the world. I never ever saw an status of a critic.
And you won't, unless
I never saw a status of a critic.
only in an artist's house. Then you'll see a status
They put it in the
with
toilet.
pins in it. No.
And they put it in the toilet.
And then,
Okay,
but-
now I would love to invite you and play for our friends a little bit of a duet. It's something
I
very
have to
simple.
put this closer. I brought the wrong glasses.
Absolutely, man. Put it in the way you want it. I got a big glass here.
Well, it's not whether they're big or not. Let me clean these two.
Oh yeah.
See if this works.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Guys,
Can,
this is a little duet. Let me show you the book. Everybody know this. Saint Jacob. Saint and Jacom. No, because it's French, no? Saint Jacob. Saint Jacob. You have to put your mouth like this. Saint Jacob.
Well, let's just play a little bit of it, okay?
Absolutely. And,
Maybe up to here. How's that for now?
that's perfect. You gonna play it on top or you
No,
gonna play it second?
It's your house.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. 1, 2.
Well, if you heard me miss a few notes, which I did, the valve was sticking, and also I couldn't see it. So that's important for them to
Don't
know.
repeat that because Hughes not gonna like to hear that.
He's not about to.
You know what? You know what?
It's too late for him.
No, it's okay. What valve oil are you using?
What's that?
The valve oil. The valve.
I just the Bach valve, but I've been
You
having.
know what?
This one.
Those two, either one. I've been using that man
Yeah.
for so many years, and they're so
You know, for me,
so good. But it's okay.
sometimes water is the best. Have you ever done that?
But that doesn't last long, you know.
I know it doesn't.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that was Louis Valazon? You know who Louis Valazon
People,
is?
some people speak on the valve.
No, no. That's okay. If it's
Some people
depending
from
on the
beer.
food, I was gonna say. Yeah.
No, that guy. He used to play the lead with Tommy Dorsey, the big guy.
When are we talking about?
Wessel.
Oh, Wessel, yeah.
What was his first name?
Wes.
No, Wessel. Wessel.
Oh, Wetzel, yeah.
The lead trumpet.
Yeah, I know you're
I
talking
know
about.
John, I can't think of
I
the
can't
name.
think of his
Oh
first name
my
either.
goodness. Okay, I remember
So I can
that.
look it up.
You know, I wanted to get back before we forget about it. When we were talking about vibrato,
Yeah.
I never could use it, but there was a hand vibrato, and a lot of classical players would use.
The hand, but
Yeah, and then there's the lip vibrato, and then there's the throat vibrato.
I
Three different ones.
go either way.
Use hand,
It's a hand sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and then throat or lip.
I finish it with the throat. With the throat. Yeah.
Me too. I don't
Yeah.
use lip, but there's those
But
three.
I think I got a better control with the hand
Oh, okay.
because as I do the thing like a singer does, for example.
So it wants.
There.
There we go.
We're back. Are
No.
we back?
We might be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we back?
We are back.
I'm sorry. We have no control in that. That's that's Facebook,
Internet, yeah.
internet.
Why don't you move the music stand out of the way? If you guys are.
Out of the
Is that
way.
what's
Yeah.
up?
if you're
Oh,
okay now.
sorry. Yeah. We're done with
Yeah,
this.
look-
Thank you,
You
Dustin.
got your phone? We'll do that.
Yeah.
No, move it.
I have some
I-
more questions when you're ready.
You're checking
Yeah.
the phone to be sure we don't gonna run over because if we run an hour and 29 minutes, they cut us.
What, okay, they give you an hour and a half and that's it.
That's it. Hour and 30 minutes exactly.
And every day, can you do it?
You could do it. I
I mean,
mean, I don't
No, it's
know
just
how
a single
often.
video, I think.
I really don't know how often, but But I
what's
think-
that?
I think it's just for a single video. It's
Yeah,
just-
I know, but I mean, could you do it once a
think-
week or
I
just?
can do it every day.
I think
Wow.
we could do it every day. I think so. Yeah.
Every day.
Well, then if we don't like what we did now.
We can
do
repeat it
later.
tomorrow.
Warming up, we can turn off and start all over.
Okay.
I do have some
Tell
more
me
questions.
about it. I want to hear and I want you to share with the people your experience to be in the band with Doc and the Tonight Show. Man. That was I feel envy about that.
Well,
I would love to be at that show, man.
Well,
Oh shit.
I have to tell you, that was, it was just wonderful.
A privilege. A privilege.
Absolutely, and especially in the trumpet section, when you
Oh,
have
Snooky.
Snooky on one side and Conti Condoli on the other side.
Yeah.
And who was the
Maury Harris played fourth trumpet.
But what about the other guy from here, the lead trumpet player?
Oh, John Audino.
Audino.
But I took Johnny's place.
Oh.
That's when I was in Europe. I was in Germany, and John Audino had
And then
a
there
heart
was
attack.
Charles Findley, Snooky John,
And Conti Condoli
Conti Candoli,
and Maury Harris.
Maury
Harris.
Harris.
Yeah, he was the fourth trumpet player, and he was from Chicago, but he worked at Universal a lot. And when Doc came out here and had the band here, when Johnny moved here, they wanted the LA band. But Snooky came, and some of the guys from New York came out here. And
Snooky was in the band there before
he was
already.
he was in New York.
In New York.
So he came out. So when they originally came out, there were five. Actually, Snooky had to wait 1 year to get his pension and buyout because they were signed. Back then, you had the contract with a network, and he was signed with NBC. He had a contract with them, Here they had contract players here too, at MGM, you know, Sony, and all these players. They had had contracts with them. And Snooky had to wait 1 year, so when they waited a year, they had to get another trumpet player out there, and that was Jimmy Jimmy.
Zito?
Yeah, Jimmy Zito. It was Jimmy Zito. It was Conti and Snooky. I mean, not Snooky at the time. John Odino, Jimmy Zito, Conti Condoli, and Maury Harris.
Yeah.
And then when Snooky came out, then there were 5. And so they'd alternate the days. Yeah, well, no, the days.
The days.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there were 5, and so they would alternate. And Snooky would take it one day off or something like that. And when Johnny would, and Snooky would play lead, and it would go back and forth. But to sit there next to Snooky, when the first time I heard him, I was 15, 16, 1963 it was. So I was, didn't turn 16 yet. I was 15, it was the summer. My brother was working in New York at the Americana Hotel. They had just opened the hotel, and he was there with the JImmy Dorsey Band.
Your brother?
Yeah, and he flew me, and I was a junior in high school, and I flew in and spent a week there. And there was a club called the Metropole, right on Broadway, on 48th Street, and it was a bar that all the band, Lionel Hampton's band played there, Maynard's band played there, all the bands would play, and they'd line up on a bar. They'd stand behind the bar, the bartenders, and they stood in a line. And so it was not, that's how small club, and it was like this. So I in New York, you can kind of just get in. I heard Maynard's band a little bit, but then Hamp's band comes in, and I'm hearing the band from outside. I said, "Oh, this is fantastic." I wanted to get in there, so I just went in with the crowd, with the people. And they don't care in New York. I mean, first of all, drinking age was 18. I was 16 or something like that. As long as you, streetwise, yeah, but streetwise too. Just go in with them, you just go in. So I went in and they lined up, and it was Jimmy Nottingham, Ernie Royal, Snooky Young, and
what band was
Dick. It was Lionel Hampton's band.
Lionel Hampton.
And Dick Forrest. He was a jazz drummer out here, Dick Forrest, but he was playing fourth.
Clifford played there for a little while. On
Lionel's band. Oh, he had
and Quincy too.
Yeah, I know.
Quincy Young.
Well, but when I walked in, Arturo, I'm walking in like this, and the band's there, lined up, and the trumpets were first. And I walk in, and there's the fourth trumpet. It was Dick Forrest, and then it was Ernie Royal, and then Snooky, and that's as far as I got. When my ear heard that, I stopped and went like this, and stood there the whole night in front of Snooky, and I'm listening to that sound, and I
fall in love.
Stood there with my mouth open for the whole night.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it.
And what a beautiful guy, man.
Yeah, Snooky owned the shake. That's another thing I want to ask you. A shake, for instance. Do you do a lip trill or do you do a shake? I normally do a lip trill and a shake. I don't like to do this.
The hands?
I don't like to do that. I'd rather just do it with the lip. But Snooky had it, but the control was so phenomenal. A shake, but it was brilliant.
But he did it with the hand?
Oh yeah, it was a shake, but it was just a little bit. It was so brilliant. And so sitting next to him, he is right there.
That's priceless.
This side I have Conti Condoli, and then Doc leading the band.
Oh my goodness!
It's like you can't buy that.
No.
You can't buy it. It's a gift.
How long you were in the band?
Well, I joined the band in November of '89, and then it ended in 91, May of '91. So a year and 4 months, something like that. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful experience, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Where? How many movies you play on it?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look at the movies.
But if you remember one movie in a specific that you play a solo, something that it really step out and you remember as something special?
I can't think of the name of the movie, and Gary might know, and he was there. There were 8 trumpets.
Gary, where are you?
Yeah, where's Gary?
He's listening, so he's...
Jerry was on it too, he would know.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of the name of it, but it was 8 trumpets, and when I got there, I was kind of running from another session, and I come in, and everybody's sitting there, and there was one chair open, and there was the first chair for the 8 trumpets, and it was me, and the first piece we had to play was all solo trumpet that I had to play. And they're all sitting there just waiting for me to maybe miss a note.
Oh my
Which,
Lord.
you know, I was, back then, I mean, I'm still the same way, I just do it. You just do it.
Of course, man.
And you don't get nervous, you don't do anything. Why? That doesn't help. You just
Really,
play it. I
it
can't think of the
really
name, but that was a
doesn't
good.
help.
I have no idea what the name of that movie was, but
Yeah.
but there were a lot.
That was
there
like a
was
melody or something.
No, this was a melody thing.
Like
So
a
I mean,
melody,
yeah,
yeah,
you would. That's something like Malcolm would play. You know, that's what I mean. That's why I remember specifically that it was that. It was hard and it had to be approached
Yeah.
in a classical way.
Yeah.
Which, thank God, I studied with Bernard Adelstein in Cleveland, who was the principal with the Cleveland Orchestra, and he taught me. I just learned with him, you know. I wanted to pick his brain. I learned from him.
Do you remember from Cleveland, Roger Voisin? He was in Cleveland or Philadelphia?
I don't know that.
Roger Wilson.
Roger
No, I don't think it was Cleveland. It was-
Oh, that's okay.
No.
Okay, and then after Dark and the Tonight Show, you joined another band? And
No,
thing?
no, not
You're
at all.
still doing things here? Freelance?
Yeah, and then it was, things started changing then. I was, during that, I was doing, that's when we met in Japan, when we did that.
With GFP?
91, yeah, things changed. I was doing more solo things then, because, and once again, it was the playing thing was beautiful, like you said, once again, to get out and play. And I go to Europe, I do a lot of things in Europe. I was actually considering moving to Hamburg in '89.
When you played that guy, the famous guy?
Well, Peter Herbersheimer.
No, the other guy, the famous guy.
Oh, James Last. That was
James
that was
Last.
much later. No, this was before that. I've been doing things
James Last, he's a big name in Europe.
huge. Yeah, we lost him last year. He passed away.
He passed away?
Yeah, but 85. He lived a good life. I mean, believe me, he lived
He was
85 years.
famous.
Huge. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, if there's any people from Germany there and Europe, I know they know all about it.
Let me ask you a
him.
question.
Yeah.
Bobby, your brother, he was with her upper, the Tijuana Brass, no?
Yes, he was.
For how long?
Well, he
Years?
was the second. Let me see. It was probably 74. I think is when he came down from Vegas to join Herb in the team.
Oh yeah?
That's when Herb put the brass back together again.
Man, that was a good gig too.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Well, the beautiful thing about it was that Bobby got to move down here. He was divorced with these 2 young boys, and he moved down here. I got to be with my brother. I got him on a lot of sessions. We did a lot of work together when he wasn't playing with Herb.
Yeah.
And we'd be working together, and it was wonderful. So he came from Vegas to here.
But-
it was fantastic.
But the name of the band is still Tijuana
That
Brass.
was Herb helping the Tijuana Brass, yeah.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Yeah.
That was great.
And it was, you know. It's just a wild vibrato. It's a lot different, you know, the Godfather.
Oh, we're back, okay.
There we are. Now do the mariachi one for me.
The mariachi.
Mariachi.
That's too
So
much.
fast.
That's too much. It's different.
Absolutely different. So when you'd go in to do a session and it was needed, you'd say, well, what kind? You know?
Let
You
me
want it to be,
let me
more-
share with you something funny. I make a terrible mistake that I erased this message I got in my answer machine. That was like 7, 8 years ago. I got a call from a guy here, I don't want to say the name, to do a movie thing. And then the lady who worked for the contractor office called me, and I was at home, and she left a message. She said, Mr. Sandoval, this is to confirm your session of day after tomorrow at 2 p.m. in this studio, so on and so on. So on. I was like, by the way, please don't forget to bring your mariachi trumpet. And I was so stupid, I erased it because I replayed that 100 times just to laugh, just to laugh, to hear it again and say, don't forget to bring your mariachi trumpet.
See, now you're dealing with there's some really funny ones, but those are business people and secretaries. That's what they do.
Yeah, of course.
They have a list of names with an instrument next to it, but they don't know that
Who's
name.
who?
No, they have no clue. They don't know that this particular name that plays this particular instrument can only do this on that instrument. He's not versatile, or she's not. They can only do, and then so all of a sudden the recording session is over, and they need this person now to stay and do some source music, small group. What are they going to do? They're like, oh, I can't do that. And then now the contractors panicked because they didn't know what they're doing. And they're getting paid twice the money that everybody else is there. But they just make a phone call and do the paperwork. I'm not mentioning names.
No, absolutely.
I would never do
it's
that.
not necessary.
No.
But the other day that I mentioned, it was almost a month already when we did it with Jerry Hay.
Yes.
He mentioned a lot of things that, because you and him and Gary did a lot of things together. No?
Oh, many.
Many beautiful things together.
Years and years.
Share with us those experiences, man, to work with Jerry and Gary. And
Well, like I said earlier, that when they moved here, I was in heaven because, like I said, there was so much work. I mentioned before, like there was so much work that it's impossible to be in two places at once. And I did call and have like 3 sessions like at the same time, and so I would call Gary and have Gary go to this record session, and Jerry to go to the other one, and I'd do this other one. And it was that much going on. It was just
every day.
every day.
Wow.
And then we would get to work together, which was really fantastic, And it was beautiful. They session-wise, couldn't ask for better. We never had to discuss phrasing at all. This is when you get this going. We play together. We don't need to discuss
empathy.
It's there.
Yeah.
There's no discussions.
Yeah.
And we just sit down, and somebody put the music in front of us, and we just play it. No pencil was needed to mark anything because why? We know what we're going to do. Bobby Bryant, the wonderful Bobby Bryant, would never mark his part because we would be marking parts, and this is other people, not much, not me and Jerry and Gary, but at a Motown session, for instance.
Yeah.
And marking the parts, because most of the time you just get it and there's no phrasing written down. So if it's da 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 or da 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 da, da 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 da. That was the other thing. The rock and roll dates out here when I first started, it was da 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 da. It wasn't da 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 da. New York was da 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 da, which was the swing stuff. It was here, it's da da da, not da da da.
Da da da.
It was da da da. That was the old Wrecking Crew things, and all the records that we did. It was never a question. Ta ta ta, not da da da. Da da da. It swung too much, and it had to be straight. So that'd be da da da. And so with Bobby Bryant said we'd mark our part, and then they'd change it back to the way it was. We'd have to erase it, and Bobby Bryant would just sit back and he'd say, "The man that doesn't mark his part is way, way ahead." Because we know he'd see us all erasing. But there was an occasion, and actually Gary Grant was on it, and Gary told me about it, and Bobby was there, and Bobby marked the part, he actually marked the part, and he got caught where they had to change it, so he had to erase it. And Gary's right there watching Bobby, who's his caught him, and so.
Yeah, but you know, you're right. When you hear the style of the beat and the rhythm or whatever was going on with the vibe of the tune, you know what already.
You know if it's going to be,
absolutely.
if it's going to be a kind
more
of a
legit
swing.
or more
Well,
like
yeah,
whatever.
exactly, more of a swing kind of thing.
Or straight notes.
Yeah, once you hear the rhythm, you know how it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Tim,
We got questions.
yes.
Well, one first is, "Hi, Dad." It's from Derek, your son.
Oh, hi, son.
And he just says, and this was just something I learned the other day about you playing the solo on the Carpenters close to you. Was that early on, very early in your career?
That was the very beginning of my career here. 1970, that was.
What the name of the movie?
No, it was a song. The Carpenters,
Yeah.
close to you, is one of the first big hits.
Yeah, that was number one. That was
you.
number one for a month on the charts.
On the charts, yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
And actually, and that was 1970. It was 46 years ago, or like last 2 weeks ago, or something. Whenever it was.
Wow.
My son's there. Hey, Derek, listen. There's a wonderful, what a wonderful drummer my son is.
Oh yeah?
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow. Good to know.
I would like to get in a club and let him play a little bit, because he had a wonderful band, but it was so hard, to get record deals, as you well know. Years ago, that's another thing. 30, 40 years ago, there was no problem getting a record deal.
Oh yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Now
You got to pay for your own record?
doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
It's the whole industry changed drastically.
That's true.
Drastically. Yeah.
And what I tell the young players when I do a master class somewhere, I always tell them that there's always room for a great player.
Oh,
so
yeah.
don't be discouraged. There's always room for look at Sergei.
Amen.
Sergei
Amen.
Nakardiakov. Look at Sergei. My goodness. I mean, Jesus. I mean, it's phenomenal, right? Is there a problem with him working? No. Jesus.
Oh, he's plenty of
Kidding? We're
job.
lucky if we get to hear him.
He's plenty of job.
Yeah. And when you came along, that was the other thing. I heard about you doing something in Santa Barbara, and Nelson Hatt told me about you. You know Nelson Hatt, the trumpet player? And this was in the 80s, I guess.
When I played at the
Something
ITV in
up in-
Santa Barbara,
Well, yes, it had to be.
89.
Okay, 89 it was.
Bob Caro, my dear friend Bob Caro, brought me from Cuba with my band.
Oh, okay.
Straight from Cuba to Santa Barbara.
And I heard about this Arturo Sandoval. I said, really? He said, you won't believe this man. We're gonna play some trumpet. And when we met and I heard you play,
Later
I said,
on,
okay.
yeah.
Because I was like, when we did GRP also, I was like, geez, what are we going to do? And we pulled up Cherokee. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, my
gracious.
goodness.
It was like, that was...
And the Cherokee thing, the first part is what it is, but the second is a little more difficult. The third is a little more difficult, and the fourth is a little more
And that's
difficult.
what Brian had. I had the... I had the third part.
Byron played the fourth.
Yeah, I don't think my third finger ever moved so fast.
Oh,
so
my
much.
goodness.
It was like constant. I was like, Jesus,
You know what that remind me? The Pete Babudi?
Yeah, Pete
Babudi.
Yeah.
When he played that part of the fourth trumpet.
Oh, the third part, yeah. He's resting.
And then say, oh yeah.
Yeah, and then wonderful Arturo. He was Pete Barbuti used to be the comic in Vegas. When I lived in Vegas, we'd have a musicians
Very
picnic,
funny guy.
musicians picnic, and he was on, and we came up to do stand up, and there was the band. We're playing and performing for all the musicians. And Pete Barbuti comes up there with the trumpet. And no, he didn't have a trumpet. He had a broom. He just came up with a broom, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play tenderly." So he takes the broom and he hits it on the mic. Bap, 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 bap. Bap, 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 bap.
In the microphone?
Yeah, he's not singing. He's just with the bristles.
With the bristles, yeah.
Bap, bap, bap. And then he takes a cut beat and sticks the cut beat in. And now we're completely, we lost it, the band.
Oh my
But
goodness.
there's nobody in the park got it at all. They're like, what's he doing?
Unbelievable, man. It's very fun. By the way, that thing I just did, I saw the video on YouTube of he was doing that with
On the Tonight Show.
with Woody Herman.
With who?
With
Woody Herman.
Woody Herman.
Woody Herman, yeah. Well,
Yes,
yeah,
and Woody was there in front of the band.
he could actually kind of play the trumpet too, though. So and plays a little piano too. So
He's a funny guy, funny guy.
Corey,
And another question.
we got more questions. One's been somebody asked a while ago. They had a question about Derek Watson, Watkins. I mean Derek Watson.
Very Watkins, yeah.
And also want to know about your already approach to trumpet and your warm up and what you do to start your day.
Well, I studied. Actually, my warm up, I just do Carmine Caruso exercises. I start. I mean, the first thing I do are the 6 notes.
The 6 notes.
Yeah, and
And
do
you
that.
didn't move the thing.
No,
you
breathe.
follow the routine.
Yeah, you breathe through
Can
your
you
nose.
do it for us, please?
Yeah, I will. It's basically to get your chops to vibrate. Because if they don't vibrate, there's no sound, of course. This is the amplifier. So and there are 3 attacks: the ta, do, and then fu.
Oh,
3 different attacks.
3 different
Because you
attacks.
use all those attacks when you're playing your horn. When you're playing something, you use a fu attack, you use a do, and a ta. So it's when you breathe through your nose. Only just no.
It's the famous 6 notes.
Yeah, but
Carmine Caruso.
yeah, and it's that before you do anything, they need to vibrate. So that's the first thing I do, and I do that until they work, until they're working properly.
We'll see you
Sometimes
feel
if you work when we work like the night before and we work really hard, our chops are swollen, and sometimes it doesn't come out right away.
I've been doing that for a while too.
You did it, so did you do it in Japan?
Yeah, but I also do a lot of the maggio warm up, the maggio, you know, do, mi, do.
Sure.
Actor, you know.
I look at it this way: whatever works for you.
Actually,
But they do need to vibrate.
it's nothing written in stone.
No. But they have to vibrate. If they don't vibrate, then there's no sound that comes out of this amplifier at all. It's just one.
And what about the intervals?
Well,
the
then
second, a third, a fourth
After I do that, then I do the harmonic series.
of
The harmonics,
Caruso.
yeah, and they're like once again you breathe through your nose, and you set it, you leave it there.
Leave it there.
Yeah. But you only do this until your chops are vibrating properly. I'm not really happy yet. But
And you
we'll see.
start with the second.
I start with the G in the staff, second line. G to C, G, C, E, G, B flat, open B flat, which is going to be
No,
flat.
I don't know what's that. I thought he was talking about it.
No. No. It's G, second line. So it's da, lo, C, G, C, E, G, B flat, C. Boy, thank God I'm not singing. And then
Do you really know?
I will.
Because I don't know
Try
that.
it. Yeah. Now the notes, you just keep the air going straight through it. You don't attack them. You only attack the first note. Only the first note.
Only
And then everything should snap into place by moving your chops, making a bigger or smaller hole. The note with the air going through it, making a smaller hole, it's going to make a higher note. So they should snap in place when everything's working properly. So let's see how it works out.
from the book, from a book?
Yeah.
Which one?
Well, I don't know if it's in Carmine's book. It's in my brother's book, but I'm sure
Oh,
it's
the
in my
book,
brother's
yeah.
book. But Carmine gave me that one as well, that exercise, and that's to get your flexibility. When that, so after you get your chops to vibrate with the six
And the name
notes,
of that is the harmonic
they're
series?
harmonics, they're all the
The
harmonics.
harmonic series.
And then you do that, when you're comfortable with that up to the high C, then you add the next harmonic to it, which would be the high D, C.
The D, yeah.
Okay. And then so on, then up to the high E as well. And then the last exercise, which I'm not gonna do now, is the seconds, which is the weightlifting exercise. And
The
that-
second of Caruso.
Seconds, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And they build the muscles.
Man,
And it's-
I love that one.
I would pass, I know.
I love
It's
that
one that, but if you do that, it only takes 20 minutes out of your day. And if you do the six notes, do that harmonic series, and then do the seconds,
The second, yeah.
then you can put your horn away and go to a session, go do it, you're fine. You're fine now.
Yeah,
To work. You can go
it's
to
like
your
an
gig.
efficient warm-up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly.
that's
But
very
20
true.
minutes is not a long
That's
time.
very true.
And
We
when,
have-
when people say, you know, I don't have time to do that, you have 20 minutes.
Dustin, how we doing with, yes, before we close the thing, I would like to acknowledge our sound engineer, Mr. Dustin Higgin, which is helping us. Thank you, Dustin. How we doing with the time?
15 minutes.
15? 1-5?
Yep.
Good, beautiful. Okay, we could do a lot of damage in 15 minutes.
And we have more questions.
Yes,
Sure,
go
we
ahead.
need
We have a visitor from Italy, Andrea Giuffretti. So he said, you know, a couple things about playing trumpet. He said Maggio, Caruso, all Italian. So the thing they have in common, great trumpet players, he's all Italian. And so great to see you, Andrea. Also, I don't know if you heard the part about the Italian vibrato. Maybe he wants to chime in on that. Jerry Hay mentioned something about the '84 Olympics. And I
Oh, that's another one. You see, I need people like Jerry, and I need Gary, and everybody to remind me.
People with good memory.
Yes, well, I'm trying to. Okay, here we go.
84 Olympic?
Yeah, which we didn't go to. I did all four trumpet parts on it, and it was.
The John Williams thing?
No, it wasn't John Williams.
Oh.
Oh, help me! Somebody out there, help me.
The Olympic.
Jerry mentioned.
Nobody's gonna
But it's
help me tell me who it was.
not.
No. It's... That's not it. It's in the wrong key. I put it in the wrong key. But anyhow, I did all four trumpet parts, and it ends on a double A.
Who was
I'm
composer?
just trying to remember who the composer was. He was a writer at A&M Records.
Oh.
And well, please edit that. That was awful. So I'm trying to think of what it was at the same time, trying to play
Oh, yeah.
in the wrong key, and that happens. That's another thing. That's, sometimes there's always a little beauty in screwing up.
A lot of questions. See, we
Yeah,
get
go
to as
ahead.
many as we can here.
Go ahead.
First one's waiting for a long time. He asked about your mouthpiece, in particular. He asked about the bent mouthpiece. I don't know if he knows about the new one that you're using.
Who
now.
asked this?
Oh heck. Let me find it real quick.
John Wayne.
It wasn't John Wayne.
Sure.
So we got disconnected. We had a gentleman to ask about that. Let me find it.
Well, I can talk about it, whoever he is. It's not unmentioned.
Meanwhile, let's play a little blues
All right.
and B flat concert.
All right. You know,
Okay.
when you mentioned Italian trumpets, when I first moved here, I was probably the only non-Italian in the trumpet section. There was Ray Triscari, there was John Ardina, there was Conti Condoli or P. Condoli, me. Italians, there was
Wow.
all Italian trumpet sections.
Gozo.
Guys, all Italians, all
Conrad-
Italians.
Conrad Gozo,
It really
yeah.
was, and I'll tell you what,
You
you never went to a
you
session.
play with Gozo? You,
No, he passed away before. I didn't get to meet him.
Yeah.
He was somebody I wanted to. There was another
Oh,
person
of course.
I wanted to meet. But it was really Italians kind of. I mean, they're known for playing trumpet, and they play it well. They always have. Anyhow,
All
but
the
there was
Italians.
always Italians in the trumpet
What
section.
about Manny Klein?
I'm sorry.
Manny were Italian, no. Manny Klein.
No, man, he was Jewish.
Jewish,
From New York, plays.
And what about Yuan? Where's his family come from?
Well, he's from Montana. I don't know nationality-wise. What I think he's.
Razy.
I don't know.
It's not very.
I think
It's not very
maybe
common
English?
name.
No, it
Razy.
isn't. Racy is not. I don't know.
And his name either. His first name is
Yuan.
very uncommon.
I've never heard
I never hear another
No,
Yuan ever.
no, that's true. Of course, then again, Montana is Montana. Montana's a beautiful place, but Yuan,
Oh yeah.
what a special man Yuan.
Oh my goodness.
And a player.
I don't know,
I got to work a lot with Yuan.
I cannot get rid
That's-
of him any day of my life because I never forget the first time I went to see him for a lesson. He asked me to play the Max Slopsberg, the first theme, the first three notes, you know. Oh my goodness! I was embarrassed for almost a year after that because it sounded horrible. And he said, "No, softer, man. No, what kind of sound that? No, sound good, whatever." Okay, and then the end of the story, the end story when I come back from my second lesson, I was so embarrassed, the first time, and I was so. I feel humiliated, and I went home. I was practicing that. I was really paying attention to that a lot. When I come back from my second lesson, I said, "Maestro, may I play the first lesson you asked me to play for you?" I think. I played something like this, and he said. No, it's not necessarily that soft.
Yeah.
I say, thank you.
We have,
Question, yes.
we have a lot of questions. I did
Go
find
ahead.
out about Roger Voisin. It was with the Boston Symphony.
Boston, yeah.
And
Boston.
we have a couple of people have asked about Derek Watkins, about your working relationship with Derek. Mike Lovat and Ben Beavis have asked about
Yes, Derek.
About Derek.
Watkins.
Derek.
What an efficient trumpet player Derek was. I mean, so consistent. He didn't miss notes. He swung, just unbelievable swinging trumpet player. He could play any style, anything. Actually, a very nice, wonderful jazz player as well. A lot of people don't know that, but not only was he.
He was mainly a lead, no?
Yeah,
But he could,
that's what he's known
play
for.
solo too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful musician, good songwriter, great talent, born talent. He also came from a musical family, pretty much brass family. His dad played trumpet, and so I mean Derek was when I first heard him play. We just immediately
connected.
Yes, like we did when we played. We connected immediately. It's like a family. We were brothers immediately, and he was here for the whole summer with the Tom Jones show in 1970, and I had just moved here in '69. So Derek comes, and I'm doing everything now. Like I said, I was working constantly. Derek comes to town, and that's only 2 days of recording. One day was pre-record, and not really, more rehearsal back in those days. It was pretty much all live. And then the next day was the show day, and we'd do the show live. And so now the rest of the week, Derek's here with his family, has nothing to do. So I got him on the record day. So we were just, for 13 weeks, he was doing all kinds of record days and the show together. We were like every day. every day
Beautiful,
together.
beautiful.
So he was considering moving here actually, but they went back to London after the show was over, and
He
when
stayed.
he born and raised, yeah. When he
He was plenty of job there.
oh yeah, that wasn't a problem, but
He was the first call there for
Oh.
everything, no?
Yeah, absolutely. He did every one of the James Bond movies except this last one. He did Skyfall, and he was really, and he wasn't well during that period even, you know, but he's still
But he still nailed it.
boom, boom, bing, boom. When you hear that, that's Derek, and you know,
Derek,
it was Derek Watkins.
unbelievable, man.
And your son said that he was named after Derek Watson. You named him after Derek.
I certainly did, spelled D-E-R-E-K, because Derek said,
Derek.
I knew when I met Derek, I said, well, I have myself, if I have a son, I'm going to name him after him. I didn't tell Derek that, but that's what I was going to do, and sure enough, we had a son,
Beautiful.
I named him Derek,
I was
and
happy
spelled
that-
D-E-R-E-K, because Derek said,
Yeah.
that's the proper spelling.
Oh
of the
yeah?
name Derek.
I met his widow, beautiful
Wendy,
Wendy. I met her in London.
Yeah.
I was playing a Ron Scott chicken.
Yes.
Beautiful lady. Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, and
Another question.
We have a question from a saxophonist, if that's okay, from Dan Higgins. He wants to know if it's hard to tune with an alto saxophone.
hard to tune with? No. Not if you're Dan Higgins, but I have no problem whatsoever. Oh, you're talking about this instrument, huh?
I don't know what that one is.
No, an alto's actually, I think, a little easier than it is the tenor. It's a smaller, tighter sound.
Dan
It
Higgin.
goes more with...
Dan, listen to me. You're next month over here.
Oh, yes.
Say yes, okay, Mr. Dan Higgin, the greatest
And bring your alto.
multi-instrumentalist.
And bring your
No,
alto.
I want you to bring everything. He put like
Oh, you
10 different things over
You
here.
can play anything.
Anything.
But so with Dan, it doesn't matter if he's playing tenor. As far as you're talking about pitch, no worries.
No,
With Dan, you know,
it's the
there
best.
are other people.
We have 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, Gianni Marinucci is listening from down under, so that's great. Your mouthpiece, real quick. I think it might have been Ben Beavis, but it got lost in when we
About
had
what it
the
is
type of
now.
mouthpiece with the.
Well, I
that
played the Bob Reeves from 1966.
more of the angle.
Oh, the angle's a 10 degree. But I had Bob Bennett for me before. I didn't even bring it with me. But this is a wedge mouthpiece, a guy up in Vancouver, Canada. And I told him I was curious about it. And I wanted him to, because I saw it and advertised, Facebook actually had it. I saw it. And I asked about it and I said, can you make me some? I wanted him to make me a mouthpiece with a 10 degree bend. He sent me this with the 10 degrees on the rim.
On the
And,
rim,
and it works perfect because I play down. And I play if I'm playing, I'm like this. So I had to do this to get up, and I used to get stiff necks.
Oh,
I only did it for that reason. I didn't do it for sound reasons.
No.
I did it because I get stiff necks in the shoulder. But with the 10 degree with this, he did it on the rim.
You put a
It was like
straight.
that. Yeah, it's perfect. It's straight through, and I love it. I'm really enjoying it. It's new for me, but I am now playing the wedge.
Fantastic.
Harrison. Was it Dave? David Harrison, they call him?
No, Ben Beavis, I think, was the one. I had somebody else trying to find
We got
couldn't either.
2 minutes.
But the other question, somebody said,
Go ahead.
is asking for both of you, is that if you have gotten older, and I don't think you guys are that old, said how has that affected your playing, and how has the emotion of music changed through the years?
Emotion. How's it changed in getting older?
How's it affected your
It
playing?
takes a little longer to get out of bed. It takes. I like a little more time when I go to the airport and I'm traveling.
Yeah, but I
but
think.
musically, I think it gets better.
Absolutely. It's like a good red wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
The only
And
thing
in terms of the efficiency and things, you sound better than ever.
I feel better than
And I'm going to tell you something. At my age, I'm 67. I'm using the 1 1/4
Yeah.
Montverno, which is a big mouthpiece.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people that said, "Dude, you cannot play any high with this."
Sure you can. Cat Anderson. Cat
This
Anderson.
is 1 1/4.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter the size. It doesn't. Cat Anderson. And her cat. And we were playing in Louis Belson's band.
Yeah.
Cat would never take his mouthpiece out of the horn. They just wouldn't. And I
hear,
but I got to be
I
good
hear about
friends.
he covered because he don't want the
he
people to
didn't
see it.
Yeah, so I had got to ask him one time. I said, "He finally let me see it. I know we're almost done." So Ken Anderson let me see it, and I saw it. It was really tiny. It's very, very tiny. But then I gave him a 1C, and he played the same thing in the 1C.
The same thing.
But he said it's a lot.
Guys, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Chucky.
Arturo.
Thank you, Chuck,
Thank you,
man.
Arturo.
It's been a
Thank
big
you.
pleasure. Thank you so
you.
much. We love you guys. You can watch that again. Bye-bye. Bye. We gotta go. Bye.
Yeah, they turned us off.
Oh,
now.
you on Racy's.
Oh, we're still on.
We're still on. We still got a minute.
You do?
Are you
And
sure?
His mother's name was Una Race.
that's right.
Oh.
UNA. So it was
It's
probably,
maybe Swedish.
yeah.
Una. Or German, or Una.
Yeah,
or-
Una. And somebody asked
Yeah, we're
about.
still on.
We're still on for
Well, that's
another
good.
minute, maybe.
Well, I can't play the triple C. Like.
Go ahead, man. I don't know.
But as I get older, that's
Man, but that sound
But
like
it's
Woo!
Great sound.
it does have a big. You know what? That was another thing. I use two different with my cheeks. If I want a big sound, I'll puff it, because then there's a cavity.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
the difference in sound. I'm gonna puff my cheeks,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's gonna be a bigger sound. Now that's a bigger sound. Now if I do it without it, it's gonna be it'll be
A
there.
little thinner.
I think so. Different sound. I'm blowing the same air
Yeah,
for
but
the
that
cavity.
cut like a knife, man.
The cavity is a little more, you know.
Yeah, I always say the sound is, man, I don't know what's going
Maybe
on.
we
there.
got a new show here.
Is there maybe because the pause? Maybe it reset the timer.
Oh,
Show
because we
number
got-
2.
No, because we have two different pals. No?
No.
What you say? We still have 1 minute?
Let's enjoy it. Why don't you tell them about that trumpet?
Oh yeah. There's a question about
This is the Harrison, Jason Harrison, and it's painted by a great artist, very famous artist by the name of Romero Brito. Yeah, and I like it because it's a thick sound. It's kind of
Nice
fat.
warm. It's a warm
Yeah.
sound.
And it's the same thing. I can play like this or.
You use like an upstream when you get for up there, because it looks like you're changing. You change your armature.
The embouchure,
Yeah.
probably the tone inside. I put it
looks
very
like
close to the.
Because it looks like it's like the Roy Stevens method when you blow up
No,
to the
no.
nose, like
It's the same.
you know. But you did change the tone.
The tongue, yeah, drastically. You put the tongue very,
Really high up.
very close to the roof of the mouth.
The roof. Oh, okay. I got you.
Like he.
So you're changing the instrument.
Like everybody else. We still on?
Well, we don't have any questions. We
Also,
may
I was
not.
asking about you on Racy. If you could talk about you on a little
Oh,
bit. Chuck, your experience with Yuan.
Yuan was so special. He, to show you how special he was, we were working at Universal. And, Yuan was always, with the polio as a child, so he was like, but boy, he was like on crutches and stuff. And before the wheelchair, he was on crutches, he got around, just incredible, incredible. And we were at Universal doing a double session, and I had my house at the time was in Studio City. And we had a lunch break for an hour, so I said to Yuan, why don't you come to the house? And I told Yuan, I said, Yuan, I'm putting a 220 electrical line from my house to the garage for my washer and dryer. But I said, I'm afraid of electricity, because Yuan built 2 sailboats in his backyard. Built from scratch, Yuan. Yuan did everything.
That guy was amazing.
So he said, no. I said I was going to hire somebody to do it. He said, no, I'll do it for you. I said, no, Yuan. He said, look, we'll come to the house on the lunch break, I'll go to your house and I'll do it. I said, are you sure? And Johan, of course, yo, Chuck, yo, beautiful, beautiful. I said, okay. So I called home and I told Celia, I said, honey, listen, could you make, some sandwiches? Johan's coming to the house for lunch and he's going to do the line. We go to the house, he gets up the ladder up on the roof of the house, mind you. He grabs this 220, we turn electricity off, got this 220 line and hooked it up, and then he brought it, he comes down the ladder, gives it to me, I take it to the garage, and he says, okay, now, he said, you grab this wire, and you just put it on there, and I said, geez, are you sure? I'm talking about life and death, but I'll tell you what, I did it, because Johan Racy was the only person I knew in the world, over any electrician or anybody, Johan, okay, I'll do it. And I grabbed that, and
what a guy.
Yeah, and then we had lunch, had a sandwich, and went back. That was when you could park right next to the sound stage.
Oh, yeah.
Because back then you could park right there, walk right in, so there was no problem. But Johan was that special. He was the sweetest man in the world.
There's a lot of people who really are not familiar with his name, but we mention in everything, and we're never gonna get tired of talking about him, because he was one of the kind, a special human being, and is such a beautiful trumpet player, beautiful. And for people who have no idea, please do me a favor and download a movie by the name of Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. And Chinatown, the soundtrack is strings and some rhythm section or some good winds and something, and the trumpet of the great Johan Racy. Listen to that and you're gonna find out what we're talking about. And for trumpet players especially, if you are not familiar with the record by the name of Tootie's Trumpet, you got a big hole in your information. Listen to us.
Tootie's Trumpet.
Tootie's Trumpet. Johan was sixth great trumpet player here in Los Angeles. I'm talking about the mid-50s. And Johan played the lead in the whole album.
No, that's not true.
That's true. That's what a big Candoli told me.
Conrad Gazzo. Well, they all had solos. You're absolutely right. Manny did. It was Conrad Gazzo, Manny Klein, Joe Triscari.
Yes.
It was
Shorty
Johan and Shorty Sherrod.
Shorty Sherrod.
That was five.
And Johan played the lead in the whole album.
He probably did.
That's what a big Cantoli told me.
I'm sure.
And I asked him. That was the first thing I asked him, because I am fanatic of that album.
Yeah.
I am fanatic of. Yeah, Johan was the only one who didn't play solo. Another one. Money Clay.
Really? You know, I have to look
Yeah,
at that
Money.
vinyl.
But we're all those melody guys and those things belongs to that record called Tootie's Trumpet. This is mandatory for all trumpet
That
players.
was, I listened to that when I was telling you, when I was a kid in school, and I listened to that too. And I heard that after listening to Maynard and Clifford and Count and Pete Condoli and all that, and I
Yeah.
listened to Tootie's Trumpets, and I said, my goodness.
Beautiful, man, beautiful.
Yeah, it was just special.
You know what? You mentioned in the very beginning today, something I want to share with you. When I was 17, 16 years old or something, around there, I was listening to the radio, and someday I got a shortwave, and I got a station in the US, and I was a radio program of Jackie Gleason Orchestra
Yeah.
with Bobby Hackett.
Yes.
Man, I swear to God, that was the very first time I hear any American trumpet player. But I didn't know that was a cornet. I thought it was a trumpet. But I hear that beautiful thing, that, you know, the inflection of the sound, the nuances of the
He
sound
was so
was
fluent.
so beautiful.
Yeah, that's somebody you should listen to.
Oh yeah,
Bobby Hackett. If you want to
Oh, my
listen to
goodness.
a marvelous, but he was also played guitar. So he,
Oh yeah?
yeah. So he played the most beautiful notes.
Unbelievable.
Played,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever see on when there's one with Don Severinson? I think it was on the what show was it? Don Severinson was on it with who was the first Tonight Show guy?
It was,
Yeah,
the one in New York? No, it was, I don't know who you're talking about.
come on, who is it? This is unbelievable.
It was, oh gosh.
Oh, anyhow.
That one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That one.
it was Doc. It was Bobby
Bobby?
Hackett,
It was before Jack.
Charlie Shavers,
Oh, another one.
and God, who was it? And the piano player I'm talking about, who played, they had his TV show. He was the
Oh yeah.
first Tonight Show guy.
Oh.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
and they play and they go back and
Bobby
forth.
Hackett, man. Oh,
And
my
Bobby,
goodness.
if you get a chance to listen to it.
Beautiful,
Absolutely
beautiful,
fantastic.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, guys, you know what? I don't want
I
to
don't
abuse
have a
more of the
feeling-
time, man, because we're almost 2 hours already.
Yeah.
How could this possibly be?
No idea. I'm not.
Anyhow, we
you
love
guys.
you.
Thank you so much,
Signing
man.
off.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Arturo.
Tim. Thank you, Dustin.
Dustin.
And Dan Hagen,
Next
you're
month.
next.
Oh, Daniel Falcone was,